Welcome back to day 2 of Avaya Engage. We're here in Dubai in the lovely Atlantis Hotel. I have with me 2 illustrious gentlemen from the internet. You may recognize them. Let's do some introductions.
I'm a gentleman, but thanks for that.
Evan and Dave, tell us who you are. Dave, go first.
I'm Dave Michels. I'm industry analyst at TalkingPoints.com.
Thanks. Evan.
And I am an industry observer and social media evangelist and sort of influencer, and here covering the event.
Excellent. So Avaya, a lot going on at the Avaya camp at the moment. What are the standout sort of messages for you, Evan?
I think for me it's the realization that Avaya has a cloud strategy. The criticism has been over the years that Avaya lacks a cloud go-to-market.
Can we call Avaya a cloud company now?
I think so. I really think they've shown through partnership with Ring and through its own evolution and product strategy, which was on display here, a clearly thriving private cloud business and a road to hybrid cloud, to CPaaS, to infrastructure as a service basically, and to public cloud through its own platform and partnership with RingCentral. So it really has shown it's covering all the bases in this new, very complex cloud landscape. And that's, for me, the first time I've really seen all those elements come together.
Sure. You mentioned the R word there, RingCentral. Maybe the elephant in the room, I don't know, but they're joint.
They're a very big elephant, a very profitable elephant, a very popular elephant. So why not partner up with an elephant? 2 elephants dancing, I think you should.
I like that. So ACO, the combined offering, RingCentral and Avaya. Dave, what's your take on that? A lot of people here were interested coming into the event about what that meant.
A lot of questions around that. They announced it just about a month ago, and they just completed the deal. They're still working out. They haven't launched it yet. There's still a lot of things that we're waiting to hear about how they actually launch this service. But there's a lot of excitement about it, and I think that it fills an important gap in Avaya's portfolio with a. I don't think anyone really predicted it. I think everyone was kind of waiting to see Avaya develop something internally, and as of next quarter, they'll be launching one of the most industry-leading, or the industry-leading UCaaS offer within the Avaya portfolio, and I think it's a big surprise, and there's a lot of excitement about it.
This is a good move for Avaya then. This is a positive move for the market, for customers.
I think there's a lot of excitement around it. What we're anxious to see is how the Avaya Cloud Office offer is different than the RingCentral offer. And I think that's going to be really important, how Avaya differentiates that offer. There's a lot of opportunity around specific feature sets. But for RingCentral in particular, this is a whole new channel, it's a whole new customer base. I don't think it makes sense for either company for it to be just a commodity service, the same service that's available otherwise. And so exactly how they differentiate it, and I know they're going to differentiate it, we just don't know all the details yet, and I'm anxious to see what happens.
Hopefully that will come clear in the next few weeks or so. So Evan, tell me, we've had the ACO stuff we've mentioned, there's been a lot around CCaaS. What's your take on the CCaaS story that Avaya's spinning at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's partnerships with best-of-breed providers.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have imagined Microsoft on stage, front and center from an Azure cloud standpoint with Avaya? You wouldn't have guessed that would have ever happened maybe 2 years ago.
Actually, you would have guessed Google, because in the US, Avaya has been working pretty closely with the Google Cloud, but since they're launching it over here in the Middle East, Azure had a stronger offer, and so it really shows that contact center as a service platform that they're building is cloud agnostic. And I don't think it's married to Azure, it's being launched with Azure, but I think we're going to see it in other services, other providers as well.
How important are those relationships Avaya's now forging in these key markets like the Middle East?
Yeah, I think it's huge. These are more elephants to dance with. So you think about IBM and their footprint with IBM Cloud and beyond. You think about Azure, you think about Google. These are the kind of partnerships that will bring Avaya into the next decade successfully. And that extends not just to cloud, but to AI, where they're partnering, bringing AI technology and APIs and interfaces into the product mix. So it really is about innovation and speed and time to market, not necessarily building it yourself. And I think that's what we've seen here.
Sure, of course, one of the other key trends we're seeing for the future is that subscription pricing, which was announced recently. I mean, Dave, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, you asked earlier, is Avaya a cloud company? And you know, part of that is the portfolio and part of that is the customer base. And so the portfolios come together where they have a number of cloud services now, Spaces, Contact Center as a service we just mentioned, the RingCentral partnership, but not all their customers yet are ready for cloud or on cloud. And so the subscription pricing kind of fills that side of the argument. So if you're a premises-based customer with perpetual licensing and you're still interested in the OpEx model and not quite ready to move to a public cloud yet, I think that fills the gap really nicely.
And I'm all for subscription model pricing, but you know, Dave Michels' newsletter is far too expensive. And I think when it comes to subscriptions, he needs to have a deep discount to people like me or friends and family. So please take that under advisement.
Sure, we need to get a discount code from you, Dave. So the subscription pricing, I mean, is this the ultimate stepping stone for those businesses ready to move, or maybe not ready to move to cloud?
I think that, I don't know if it's a stepping stone necessarily, but I think that there's a lot of, the OpEx model is a big driver for companies moving to the cloud. And so we've seen a little more resistance in moving to the cloud on these larger enterprise customers. And so Avaya is now saying, well, you don't have to move, we can give you that primary benefit without having to move. And I think that's a really important gap filler. I mean, there's not a lot of perpetual options out there, licensing options, that give you that OpEx model. So I think it's, and the fact that they're launching it globally too is pretty significant.
Sure, okay. So intelligent experiences is another key theme coming out of the Avaya camp at the moment. Evan, employee experience.
So wait, intelligent experience, you go to him?
Highly intelligent experiences.
Go straight to you, Evan. So employee experience, I mean, what does it mean? What is Avaya enabling with this story?
You know, it means not being miserable and frustrated and overwhelmed at work.
Hey, leave me out of this.
You don't work. He has a side hustle basically. But you know, I've worked in enterprise tech companies for 25 years, and I can't tell you the amount of bad applications and unusable applications and bureaucracies and bad unusable apps that I experienced over those 2 decades. And to see an interface, a user experience, a customer experience oriented to employees to make their life easy, to make communication, collaboration, messaging, apps easy to use and consume is a real bright spot. And it's often overlooked. Everyone looks at the customer side of the enterprise, but rarely are people looking at the internal employee experience. So it's really nice to see all those benefits in terms of mobile and social and messaging being applied to the employee experience.
And actually, I want to recognize the product. I don't think anyone saw this coming either, but the OneSpace product that Avaya launched is taking what you're describing beyond communications and collaboration to other applications. And so the OneSpace is kind of instead of all that app switching all day, brings a lot of your apps into one place. And I don't think people were expecting that from Avaya, but it's a pretty impressive application.
Yeah, no, and it incorporates not just communications, but automation. You know, how can I automate my work processes? How can I automate scheduling and calendars and integrate with, the sort of over-the-top apps or even social media that people are increasingly using in their roles? And there's really no one else doing that as far as I can see. Sure. in this world.
Clearly solving a big headache for a lot of contact centers out there, which is staff retention as well. Happy employees make happy customers.
I don't know we're ever going to make Dave a happy customer.
What is this happy employee? What is this?
He's a mildly satisfied customer. I think that's the best we can expect for Dave. But in all seriousness, I think I love the focus on happiness here in the event. And what an amazing roster of customers that have come forward to share their experiences.
I like the customer that expressed, they won the award, and they expressed their gratitude toward Avaya. You don't see that very often.
You don't see grateful customers.
It's interesting, Avaya has some very loyal customers.
And big ones.
Huge ones.
Yeah,
Donata Travel is the biggest powerhouse of a company no one in the US has ever heard of. We think we own
we haven't heard of your company either, actually.
Yeah, it's called Talking Points.
Come on, settle down.
Talking Points with an S. But in any case, these are businesses with tens of thousands of employees distributed across hundreds of locations, doing billions of dollars of commerce and transactions, and all powered by Avaya. and yet they're not known brands in the US. So it's great to see these partnerships and customer stories being told.
Okay, so what's next for Avaya? Where do you think they can make the most headway over 2020 and beyond? Evan, what do you think?
I think it will come to continuous innovation, and taking its core competency in real-time communications and messaging and cloud, and continuing to innovate in that area and move to a pure play software company, leveraging partnerships and building on those partnerships. So I think it's time to market, speed, innovation, and continuing on the journey that we've kind of seen here.
The cloud, particularly the contact center, really changes the equation. You've got the contact center premises solution fairly mature, and there's not, it's pretty well defined and understood, and the expectations are clear. The cloud element of that is bringing in everything from payment gateways to new kinds of channels for communications, artificial intelligence, and it's just so many opportunities emerging for all these different providers, Avaya being one of them, to innovate and differentiate their offers with a whole new life cycle starting effectively.
Sure. So this consistency of innovation, is this going to, have Avaya got that right? Have they got the pace right? Are they on track? What do we think?
Well, we've been to the UAE twice in 2 months now, and each trip we've seen more and more, cool technology, products, solutions, and technology. So I haven't seen Avaya move so fast in quite some time. So my expectation is they're on a mission. So.
It's an interesting question, because I don't know what the right pace is, because we've seen in the smaller business that the innovation pace can be very quickly, but in these larger enterprise accounts, innovation's almost a tricky double-edged sword, right? And so I think finding that right pace, you can't go too fast, you can't go too slow, and I think Avaya is exploring with that, and we're seeing, like you said, a lot more announcements at a faster pace than usual. But I think there is a possibility of going too fast too.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the event and enjoy Dubai.
Great place, thanks so much.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. My name is David Dungay, editor of Comms Business Magazine. To catch up with all the action, you can follow that on social media using the Avaya Engage hashtag. Thanks for tuning in.